Welcome to this short video in a series of videos where we look at this big question: how to create engaged readers. We don't expect to find one answer to this question, but we try to explore the question from different angles. In this video, we will look at the subject Books for Everyone and how to find and create universally designed books. This is just a short introduction to the subject. And if you want to learn more about how to find and how to create universally designed books, please look at the guidebook, created and published by Books Without Borders, an Erasmus project. First, let me introduce myself. My name is Hanna Bovim Bugge. I have a master in literature from the University of Oslo, and I have been working as a literature advisor in the reading organization Books for Everyone since 2008. Through these videos, we are looking at key factors for successful reading. Number 1, inner motivation to read. Why read? Second, finding the right book. 3, easy access to books. It doesn't help if we have books that can engage people to reading if they don't find them easily. And 4, engaging reading activities. In this video, we are focusing on number 2, finding the right book. As we could see in the previous video about why universally designed books, we can see that Books for Everyone is a kind of book that is accessible in language and layout, but with a high literary level. To manage this, we use 2 different methods. One is to make new books. To make high-quality new books for different readers in close collaboration with authors, illustrators, comic book artists and publishing houses. The second one is book search, to find and recommend suitable books from the common book market. Now we will look at the part where we make new books. And as I said, this is just an introduction. But there are some very important things to be kept in mind. One is, when we want to create books for everyone, these should and must be artist-driven projects. They should be projects fitted for a universal design approach. That is, books that are inclusive, that include more readers, and at the same time, really try to have a high quality. We need then skilled advisors with broad experience from the field of literature to give advice to the artists. Sometimes we need external professional advisors as well. We need experienced writers, illustrators and comic book artists. And we also cooperate with highly quality editors and professional publishing houses. In other words, quality, quality and quality. We should also be aware that to make a book that includes more writers, it's not enough just to work with the language. We need to work with every aspect of the book. This is called Book for All framework. And if you see here in this image, you can see that all the phases when it comes to making a good book is included. We have the initial phase, the narratology must be worked with, the linguistic text editing part, the layout and the design, and publication. So let's start with the initial phase. In this phase, we look at the primary and secondary target group. The primary target group will often be the non-readers or the readers that have very few books to read. And this might, for example, be a young person with dyslexia or a second language learner, a person with autism or other readers. This is the group we really want to include into the book. But at the same time, we have a secondary target group. And the secondary target group is almost everyone else. Everyone else belonging to the same age, for example, or the same class, because we want everyone in the class to be able to read and enjoy the same book. That's inclusive. In this phase, we often also look at the genre, and this helps us to read, because when we know what kind of book we read, it helps us with our reading. And the plot and story is often also discussed. The narratology is very important when it comes to books for all. Very often we think it's just the language, but no. The story is so much more than the language. We need to look at the narratology. Very often we try to find a balance where we have a clear narratology, but not predictable, because we need to have some excitements as we read. We need turning points to capture the reader. We need a tense that feels close and active. A here and now is very often used. We need well-developed characters, often with existential needs, so we believe in them and we want to know how it works out for them. We need to be very clear about our point of view. Where is the story told from? A clear telling point helps the reader. A telling point and a voice the reader can follow and trust, maybe even become fond of. Often we need dialogue and inner monologue, but this needs to be well considered. We need to find a balance that works. And very important, we need scenes and descriptions. Please, do not fall into the temptation of telling everything that happens. People with reading difficulties are not stupid. We all need to be shown what to feel and see, not to be told. Please do not forget, show, don't tell, is very important, also when it comes to these kinds of books. Now I'm taking you through what we are working with when it comes to developing new books. But the things I'm going through and the things I talk about, they are the same things that you can also look for in books that already exist in the common market. So look for books with a well-written narratology and with characters we really want to get to know, and with all of these things that I'm talking about now. The third point is language, or the linguistic text editing part. And here it's the same thing. These are things we work with when we develop books, but you can also look for them in books that already exist. An active style of writing is often so much better than a passive style. We need a concrete and direct language. We work a lot with reading fluency, because a lot of people seem to think that if we only have short sentences, the text will be easy to read. But this is not true. A text with only short sentences will become very staccato to read. We don't get the reading fluency. We need to avoid long sentences, including secondary sentences, or at least too many of them. But at the same time, keep in mind that you need to find a natural pace and natural way of using the language that feels good to read. And we try to use recognizable words and expressions. The design part is also very important, because if an author really works on making a well-written, easy-to-read text, but without a designer that makes it easy to read, also when you look at the page, it doesn't help. We need well-structured chapters, sections. We need to work with the line length so they are not too short or not too long. The font needs to be good and readable. Contrasts need to be used. Very important, especially if you have images, not to make the images overflow the text, for example. The illustrations must be used in a good and creative way, and the cover should be very inviting. Please make a cover that makes the reader want to read the book, and a cover that is age appropriate. The last part, mediation, is also very important. Publishing and mediation. Because it doesn't help if you make a good book, but you do not make sure it reaches its readers or potential readers. This is a very important thing also, because in this part we have a circle. Because we give the book to a reader and then we get feedback from the reader. This feedback from the reader can help us make new books. We cooperate with libraries and teachers, and through this we can make new books for new readers. This is an ongoing circle to break the negative circle of non-reading or non-readers. So, As I said, to get feedback from readers after the book is done is very important. But this can also be done before the book is finished. This is called reader response and can be used a lot. This is feedback from potential readers and ideas for promotions and sharing, even when the book is not finished. And then we can change the book according to what the readers are saying and how they respond. I want to end this video by showing you these two pictures. These pictures are from a book called Jenta som ville redde bøkene, or in English, The Girl Who Wanted to Save the Books, of a well-known author in Norway called Klaus Hagerup. And these illustrations are made by Lisa Isato. When you first open the book, you see this drawing of a lot of books. And I think for people who love books, this is a nice image to look at. You see a lot of books and maybe you want to read them or pick a book, see what's there. Is it a love story? Or is it a crime? Is it something historical that actually happened? What is in this book? This is exciting and thrilling maybe. But if you have had bad experiences with books, or maybe really no experience at all, this image might just be like a brick wall you can't really relate to, a brick wall you just want to walk past, a brick wall that is not at all inviting. So, when we turn to the back page of this book, or the end of this book, this image suddenly comes up. And it was actually a 12-year-old girl with strong dyslexia. She showed me this picture and she said, "Have you seen the difference? In the first page, there's only books, but in the second or last page, there's a girl reading. And look at this girl, she's reading with so much joy. The book is shining for her, and she's shining for the book as well. It's a magical meeting between the book and a girl, maybe a 12-year-old girl with strong dyslexia. So, what should we do? What should we be interested in? I think we should be inspired by this image to try to find that little place in the bookshelf with books that are suitable for this reader, this imaginary 12-year-old reader. And then we should find a ladder and put the ladder there, make books that are suitable for her, find books that are suitable for her, and try to make a positive circle of reading and reading joy.